Hi, guys. It's KJ from Fort Life Coaching, and I'm coming here today to talk about having bigger dreams and striving beyond your expectations. When we're younger, we have these dreams as a kid. I want to be a lawyer, a doctor, Indian chief, maybe even a professional football player. But sometimes we have to make sure that we allow room to move further. And along the way, when we're moving further, sometimes that fear of performance or fear of the next step may come along. But I want to talk to you, or today we're going to talk to Cornell Brown. Cornell Brown is my cousin, and yes, he's good looking because we have the same genes. But he is a Super Bowl champion. He was played on Super Bowl championship team in game number 35, Super Bowl number 35. So he's going to talk to us a little bit about what it's like to keep striving towards excellence and how to overcome some of those, fears or concerns that you may have, your teammates may have, people around you may have, and I'm just super duper proud. So I want to tell you a little bit about Cornell. I told you about Super Bowl 35, but let me just tell you how awesome he is. In high school, he actually played in the national championship game. Am I correct?
Yep, the state championship game.
I
Yep,
mean,
the Virginia High School state championship game. I got to play in two of those back to back.
Did you really?
Yeah. They're not great memories, but I got to play in them.
Like I said, you got the pictures. You got pictures,
I got
right?
pictures of them. I got pictures.
That's all counts. And then he also, in college, he was the first person, he's the first junior in the Virginia Hokies program to receive an consensus All-American recognition as a junior.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes. It's in the genes.
That's right.
He also, a little bit about Virginia Tech. His number was retired in 2002. They retired your jersey.
Yes,
and
I did.
2007, he was entered into the Virginia Tech Hall of Fame.
Yep, I did.
See? In 2013, he was entered into the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Am I correct?
I did. Yep, okay. I did.
So, he has been an assistant coach for in Europe for the Cologne Centurions.
Yeah, the Centurions, yeah.
Okay. And Frankfurt Galaxy.
Yep, that's right.
And while in graduate school, he was a graduate student coach for the please forgive me, for Virginia Tech.
Yep. I went back to Tech. That's right.
And he has coached persons such as athletes such as Darius Hodge, and he had a single game winning record of 4.5 sacks. Am I correct?
Yep. That's correct.
Okay. And Ty Tyler, who received the conference's all freshman team.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, and then also, as I said before, he played in the 35th Super Bowl. And not only did he play, but he won. His team won. So that's pretty cool. So I wanted to once again welcome my cousin. I haven't seen him in forever. I remember he's from Virginia, where a lot of our family is. And I remember going down to visit the family in Virginia. And I used to go to great granddaddy's house, Ernest Jones.
Yep.
Our great granddaddy's house. I used to go to my great granddaddy's house, and I would always die to get to see his father, Rudy Lee. And I was like, oh my God, we got to see Rudy Lee. And so he took us to see Cornell one time. And when he took us to see him, he said, yeah, he's going to play professional football. And I was like, okay, and you were in high school. I was like, all right. He's going to play professional. I got you. And that was the very first time that I met you, and I still just remember him, and your dad's funny, and he always has these little jokes, and he could say things, and he'll say it real serious, and everybody be laughing around. So I don't think it was for real, but he was correct. He was correct. So tell me a little bit about life in Virginia. Tell me a little bit about Lynchburg and Virginia.
Well, because my dad lived in the country, right? So the country living is it's different. So you have to have a big time imagination when you don't have a lot of other things. Like you grew up in the city, so you know things are very accessible. You can get to stores, you can see people back and forth. But where I live, we had 2 neighbors, right? That was adjacent to us. But then everything else, you have to about a mile. You know, you have to do a mile. So if you're traveling, you're gonna have to walk or ride a bike. So that was a lot of times. And the good thing, you know, I had 2 sisters and a brother, so that made it a lot easy. And I was the third one, and I probably was more more of a deviant than the rest of them. So I was more trying to get in stuff and doing different things, but a lot of bike riding, a lot of falls on gravel, a lot of rock throwing, a lot of running from wild animals and all of that in the country living. So I experienced a lot. And then the basis of it is really hard work, right? That's what you learned in the country, because, you know, you wasn't going to the store. It was a weekend event going to the store. It's called going to town, right?
Yes, going to town.
Yeah, you go to town. So, and it's a planned event. You go to town, you do all your grocery shopping, everything for like weeks and weeks on end. So anytime you got to go to town, it was a big deal, weekend event, and everybody's excited. Like, let's get in the car, we going to town.
Dress up.
Yeah, the whole deal. It's an event. So those were the big events that you look forward to. But other than that, you got to have a great imagination being in the country. You know, when it get dark, it's very dark. We had what you would have like 2 street lights. One that is probably at the top of the hill, and then one that was in the middle that pretty much gave the 3 houses light at nighttime. So, you know, it's a lot of dark spots, a lot of scary moments out there, a lot of boogeymen. So, you know, in the country.
And see, and the funny thing is, when I went to Virginia and I went to your father's house, I thought I was going to the city, because even though I'm from New Jersey, from the city, they had me stay at great granddaddy's house, right? And great granddaddy's house, we had this long gravel driveway, a rock driveway that you had to drive down. And I used to always say, because I was little, I didn't know about it. I said, yeah, he's got a house made with aluminum foil because it was a tin roof. I used to always say, we go to the house with aluminum foil. And we got there. And so I remember they would always tease me because they would call me city girl. And they say, going out there to the bathroom and watch out for the snakes. So I was scared to death because they kept telling me that the snakes were gonna come out the toilet. They said, you gotta use that slop jar or get ready to deal with the snakes. But they used to have the best time picking with me. And I remember one time I wanted to take a bath. So I'm thinking like, okay, you just go to the faucet, turn on the water. They gave me a pan, a bucket, and I was looking at the bucket like, what? I had to go take the bucket, go to the pump the water, put the water on top of the stove, go get some wood, right? Yep. Nobody had wood for me. I had to go get the wood and put it in the stove and heat it up, and then take a bath. And but you know what? I just tell you, the love of life and the simplicity that they had. I mean, you know, because Otis, you know, Otis lived behind them. Otis's family, I can't remember. You know, Otis and Cammie and them, they lived behind him. And Mamie used to make these big biscuits. But I mean, just the love and the simplicity and the support. I mean, it was just true, authentic. You know.
It was truly it was almost like a time before. You know, because you think the transition was happening where everything was becoming modern and, you know, indoor plumbing and all that, but it hadn't reached there because this is the country now. It's a lot different, and it was everybody knew everybody and everybody knew each other's kids, and the whole deal of, you know, people say when you get in trouble one place, you all the way home, you're gonna get it.
Yes. So, everybody knows your business.
Yeah, everybody knows that. So
everybody knows your business. So I was like, I couldn't do anything without everybody saying, yeah, that's the one that did. That's the one. Dang on it, you know. When
Right.
and when I went down, I was going to tell you this story. When I went down, I remember the first time I met Cammie, right? And
Uh-huh.
keep in mind, like my mom was kind of prissy, and you know, she used to dress up and the nails and all of that kind of stuff. So, but she was a Southern girl, so she could, you know, she could still deal with it. She could hang, right?
Right.
So we went to see Cammie, right? And Cammie comes out and he's got on these overalls and they are drenched in blood, right? He said, he said, like, come on, come give your cousin a hug. I was like,
You have to. Don't make me.
yeah. And I had to go give him a hug with, you know, with the big overall. He said, oh, it's just dry. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But they were all laughing because once again, I was quote unquote city and they would always do things to pick on me. So,
Right.
but
That's
yeah,
right.
I love going to the South. So going from Piney River, Lowesville
Mm-hmm.
to Lynchburg,
Oh.
what was the leap like in school?
The school part was it was different only because now I'm exposed to, you know, in the country, I got a class. I came up in a class, I was in a class of all girls until 4th grade. And you know, at my time, my school would go kindergarten to 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we had one bathroom. The kindergartners had a bathroom, and then we had one bathroom for the 1st graders to the 6th graders, and everybody in shift change.
Wow.
And my classroom would be like, we probably had like 18 kids. And I was the only boy in my class until 4th grade. So when I was able to go to the city, it was a shocker. Like, oh, all these people, like we all in the same class. We changed classrooms and the whole deal. So that was a big shock to me, totally. That being exposed to so many people in a small space and it's forever changing. So that was pure excitement to me. So I'm like, I want to meet everybody, try to talk to everybody. Like it was a shock.
And you should have already had your game down because you were there with all those women. So you should have known. You should have known how to bring it. When you got to Lynchburg, they weren't ready for
you. The women made me, you better be ready to compete in the classroom because they're going to be like, well, the girls are always better than that. Like, wait, oh, it's just me. And I got to hold my own against all these girls. So they sharpened me up. Definitely in the classroom. They sharpened me up a lot.
Wow. And so when you went to Lynchburg and you got all these people in the classroom, was Lynchburg, because I think Rudy was saying that you were moving to Lynchburg for football.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So we end up moving
what's it like now playing football?
Lynchburg, well, football was a big thing. My older brother, he was big in football, really liked it. And so I was trying to be like him, and aspiring to be like him. Because one, playing football kept you from having to do all the yard work, cutting wood, stacking wood, all those cutting grass, and doing all this thing, going to fetch water, all of these things. So whenever you can do, you play football, you didn't have to worry about doing any of that. So that really helped out a lot, being able to go to the city and now basically centered around football. So my chores at home were lessened when I was able to go move to Lynchburg and play football more so.
And so when did you start to love it? When did you start to say, you know what, this is more than just chores. This is more than chore.
Exactly. I love the game of football from being a child because weekends, that's all I did. I was sitting in front of the TV and watch TV, and my parents hated it. They'd be like, you get away from in front of the TV, and my face right in front of the TV, like the whole weekend. They like, this is all we gonna watch? And I'm like, yeah, I like it. I want to watch it. And that's probably where I got the true love for it. But then once I get there, and it's like, it's so competitive with so many
Lynchburg.
people, right? In Lynchburg, it becomes so competitive because you have so many more people, right? And it's a straight competition. And for me, being from a small place in the country, I initially was questioning myself, like, really, will you be good enough to play this? Will you be able to do it? Whatever. But I
They
was
say there's like
gung-ho
this
on it.
farmer strong. They say
Huh?
there's like this farmer strong. Like if you work on the farm, that you use different muscles and stuff like that. So there's a certain kind of strength you have.
Yep. They call it old man strength.
Old man strength. Okay, old man. So
Yeah,
did
old
your
man
old man
strength.
strength show up?
Oh, it definitely did in a lot different ways, because all of those lifting wood, cutting down trees, all that come in effect for 14, 15-year-old, where normally 14, 15-year-olds, they're not doing that. The kids in the city, they ain't do that, right?
Right,
So,
right.
so it made me stronger, and I didn't know I was stronger because of it. But then once I was able to get out there and compete and play with them and see that I was a little bit stronger than they were on the field, that was the big difference for me. That I came from the country and I had the old man strength just from the manual labor that happened growing up. So
Right. And so were you at that point where you started to say, well, I could do this in college, or I could do this in the pros? Wait,
yeah.
do you have a cousin on Susie's side that played in the pros?
Yes, my mom's brother, he almost made it to the pros. He played at Arizona, and her older brother played at Arizona, the University of Arizona. Her younger brother played semi-pro ball, and actually he
Okay.
played in New Jersey, right on my mother's side.
Right.
Right.
Because I remember you guys lived in New Jersey for a while.
Exactly. And that's where my mother and father met, in New Jersey. So, and then because my dad said, I tried to shake your mom, but I showed her how to get to Virginia one time, and she remembered, and she came following me to Virginia, and that's how we end up being in Virginia. So, but my mom's side, they had athletes and stuff. And then once I got in high school and was able to play, and I noticed pretty good. And people as being a good player, and that was the point of moving to Lynchburg because of more opportunity, especially in the football realm. Mm-hmm. And now I was pretty good on this team in Lynchburg with these guys, and they had guys that would go off to college and get scholarships and different things. And and guys would say, you're pretty good. You would probably have a shot to play college ball. And I'm like, you think? Because my aspiration was simply to be able to play in high school and be as good as I could be in high school. I always dreamed when I was little that I wanted to play in NFL. That was like, it was a dream. And, I'm like, I'm gonna do everything, measuring myself, trying to do all the things I saw those guys on TV, the NFL guys, be. And I'm like, man, I wish I could, but ultimately I'm figuring it's probably just high school. But once I got there and I was able to be a good player, and then other guys were like, you could probably get a scholarship. So it was encouraging. And then one day I was a junior, and the scouts came for an older guy, and he was waiting on the guy. And I happened to walk by the gym, and I saw the guy, and he had on his shirt and his school on his shirt. And I said, "Oh, that's cool. I see him on TV every weekend." I said, "Yeah, I know your school, da da da." And he was like, and I introduced myself. I said, "I'm Cornell Brown, da da da." And he's like, and he started talking like, "I'm here to see so and so." I said, "Man, it would be great if you would give me a scholarship. I wish I could get a scholarship to go to school." And he was like, "I seen you on film. You're a good player. You potentially, I could be back in a year to get you." And from that, I was like, "You're playing." And he was like, "No, I'm being honest." And I said, "If you come back in a year, I'll be ready for you, and I'll be ready. You make sure you come back with a scholarship." And lo and behold, the guy ended up coming back in the springtime and after the season, and he was like, "We want to offer you a scholarship." I said, "You're playing." But now by that time, I had become a much better player, and now bigger schools was coming. And so the guy was like, "You remember I told you that I was coming to offer you a scholarship, so I got this, I'm gonna be the first one to offer you a scholarship." And I was like, I was so taken back, like, you did, and I believe it now. I see it, and now more people are
School.
falling in the mold.
What'd you say?
And now more people are coming along and saying the same thing. Like, well, how about our school? And then it's starting to be, my coach start coming in with letters from schools that fill out questionnaires and stuff like, well, write this and send this back and all this. And now they're calling my coach, asking my coach if they could get my number, call up, speak to me, the whole thing. So, in that process, and I'm still like, okay, like it truly could be something where I could go to school. And I didn't know that. I knew they gave out scholarships and all that. And I was like, pretty much, I need one. Because my dad and mom always said, hey, when you turn 18, you got a choice. You go to school, you join the Army, but whichever one you decide, you're going to be out of my house. So you figure out which one you're going to choose. So, it worked out where I got the scholarship and I didn't have to join the Army. So that put me on the path. It gave me motivation too, to really.
Were you considering the Army though? Did you say like, well, maybe I will be going to the Army instead of playing football?
I thought about it. I thought because I had, they had the requirements, the GPAs, the SATs and all of that. And I hadn't took an SAT before. So, and people telling me different scores and all that. So I was afraid. So I did fill out the Army brochures and all of that when they came around during school. So that really gave me a incentive, because I didn't know. I even though being a good player, all of those other stipulations came in. You had to have a certain GPA. You had to pass a test score. You had to be a upstanding citizen, all of these things. And I'm like, I knew I could, I played well.
Can I do 2 out of 3?
Yeah. So it's like, and I'm like, well, I know the Army is for sure. They'll take me. So I filled out the brochure. And the guy even came and they met and they talked about it and everything. And, it was a thought. So it was a part for me that I almost trying to set up a backup plan if the front plan didn't work.
Yeah.
But one of them had to, because I couldn't go back home. My parents weren't gonna let me stay at home.
Because otherwise you have to stay outside with the wild animals, remember?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to go back out there.
And you definitely gonna have to do some chores.
With the football won't be able to save me then. Oh, you gonna do these chores.
I remember. So then, okay, so now so at this point, when are you at this point where with college, are you starting to think now, like, maybe I could really play in the pros? Or are you still just thinking like, I can get to college?
Well, once I, I guess it's stage by stage. I get to high school, I play well. I get the opportunity to go to college. Now, mind you, I had some really tough high school deals. Like I said, with the 2 state championship games I played in, I lost a total of the state championship game. My record, my team scored 0 points in 2 years, and I had 90-something points scored on me. So that's happening. I'm not thinking about the NFL. I'm like, I got to get out of here. I'm just like, somebody still want me after that. I'm happy. But I go to Virginia Tech, get there. Now it's a whole different world because it's nobody I know. It's different guys. Now these guys everybody's good. They went out and they got all of the top guys around and all this. And I'm like, will I be as good as I was in high school here? So now it's a little battle in my head, questioning it. Will I be able to be what I was in high school, right? And I get out there and I go in my very first game. I go out And I end up making a play on the opening drive, and one of my buddies come to me. He's a close friend now, and he was a manager. He came to me and he was like, "You might be as advertised. You're a pretty good player." So him and the equipment guy, they telling me like, I really didn't think you were gonna be that good. You might be pretty good. And I'm like, yeah, I am. After they said, I'm like,
All
yeah,
right.
I always knew I was gonna be this good. It's a shocker to me too. So probably when I really thought I had a shot to be able to be a real professional player was after my second season, because I had some guys on my team that end up being drafted in NFL and shit, and I had been with them the whole year, and I saw how they played, and and we compare ourselves to other people, right? I'm gauging, I'm looking at them, and I see how they perform, and everybody rave about how good a player they are, and I'm like, my freshman year, I make some plays and I do well, and I'm like, man, if I keep this up, I should be able to go get a chance in the NFL as well. And end up finishing well, see them do it. So now I'm like, I might can come back the next year, and I get better. And now it's like people start to say, wow, you might really have a shot at playing on the next level. Now, I go through the whole season. I have another good season, my second season, but now my third year come up. And now people are like, they looking at me expecting things. So now I got an expectation on myself. And
So wait. Hold on a second. So you're saying before your junior year, there were no expectations of you?
Well, coming in, it was high expectations, but because you're a young guy. And now the one thing about it, I went to Virginia Tech, right? Virginia Tech now is a household name and everything. When I went to Virginia Tech, the year before I went, they were 2-8-1. So they had an awful season. They wanted to fire the head coach, and the head coach was Frank Beamer. He was on his last deal. So more or less, they were like, anything you could do is an improvement, right? So, and then each year, the seniors and the older guys become the focal point of the team. And so my first 2 years, I was just able to play without being like, you got to be the main guy. So I was able to play free and just play and come along. But now when my junior year set in, it's like, oh, you got to be the guy. They expected me to be the guy now because I've had 2 good years. So it's almost like building up to like now, and that's where like the NFL aspirations really starting to set in, because they looking at it like you are a guy, you're our guy, and we need you to be our lead guy. And so now I'm like, and that added motivation and basically that added pressure also, because now you must produce, and people looking at you like, you need to produce it, not just one time. They want you to produce every time you're out. So
how are you managing that pressure?
It was the best part of it was that I had an older brother that had pretty much, he had been through it. He had been through college and the whole deal. So he really helped me being somebody that I could talk to and really talk about what's going on, things like that. And then, for me, my family was always really my backbone. So I could always call home and get a true assessment of, just really of who I am. And not get caught up in trying to be more than what I am. And that was the biggest thing, because my family really kept me humble. My dad was somebody that always believed in work. You need to work. You got to get up. You got to work harder than anybody else from sun up to sundown. So that foundation of work really helped me stay on track of being focused at, even though people talking, I got it, I know I got to work for it, and my mom really making me be humble about you're nobody. you still come here and you still my kid, you got to do this and got to do that. And it's like, but they think I'm somebody special. But my family was not into it, you know, and they gonna still treat you like the little brother, the son that they always have. And that was humbling to me. And also it really kept me grounded, you know, and so that really helped me a lot. Just my family dynamic. It really helped me because my family, they, you know, if you the best of everything, they don't care. They still gonna talk bad about you and joke you, just like you said. You know,
love to joke.
City girl, right? Same thing. City girl,
Yes,
city girl,
yes.
right?
And if I did anything that looked like City Girl, they brought it up. Anything. I mean,
There
I
you
could be
go.
out there. I could just wipe my head. Oh, she's bumping the head like a City Girl.
Yeah, you like, wait a
She
minute.
walked like a City Girl, no matter what I did. But
Right.
it was so much fun. I mean, so much laughter. I mean, we could hike on the way somebody was drinking a drink or anything. I mean, just anything. So
Exactly right.
and you need that humor, especially when that type of pressure comes on, or those memories, those fond memories when the pressure comes on. I went to the NCAA conference this year, the virtual one, and the Black Student Athlete Summit. Right. And I heard something that blew me away. Now, I wanted to play sports in school, but my mom was completely against me playing sports. You know, she wanted me to be feminine and all the girly stuff, right?
You might
and
get
so,
hurt.
because, you know, my dad had me working hard. Like, we used to go on hikes and stuff in the woods, and my dad would bring a stick just in case we ran into snakes. And I mean, my dad was like, my dad was hardcore.
Exactly.
We get up like, you get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, clean the house, and ride bikes all day. So my mom wanted me to do some of the girly stuff, like, you know, like the lipstick and makeup and that kind of stuff. And I didn't really get into it. You know, she really wasn't into it. But anyway, one of the things that, so now sports really fascinates me, everything about it. And so one of the things that I heard when I was listening to this conference was students were telling us about how they get threats, like they get death threats and all this other kind of stuff if they don't perform.
Right.
And I was just like, wow, you know, or if you do this again during a game, you know, we'll do this. And the fans were crazy because of the level of expectation. And we, as fans, as onlookers, don't really understand the pressures that are going on behind the scenes when you're talking about a top school and a top performer.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah. A top performer's not even getting paid, right?
No, they're not. They're not. And they're expected to perform as a professional. Right? They put it in the realm of, this is your job. This is what you must do. So,
and then you got to find a way to balance that and still laugh and have fun.
Yeah.
So as you're balancing and laughing and having fun, now you move forward to what?
Well, I'll end up moving forward.
You ready for this?
I get the chance.
You ready for this? I want to show you something.
Uh-huh.
Can I show you something?
Yep.
You ready?
Yep.
See that?
Wow.
Wait, where is it?
There you go.
See that?
I see that. That is, wow. Oh, look at you.
And no, you can't have it back.
Look at you.
And no, you can't have it back. That's what your dad gave my dad. You recognize that number from the Baltimore Ravens?
See, yeah. Yeah.
You recognize that game ball from the Baltimore Ravens?
See, look at you. Yes. I might have put my head in that.
Yeah, well, of course that's for.
Yeah. See,
family is tough as I don't know what.
Yeah.
You know, behind the scenes, they are cheering you on, and your dad was so proud of you and everything that you did. Oh my God, everything that you did. And yeah, he gave my dad, well, of course my dad's no longer here, but he gave my dad the game ball and the helmet. Yeah. And yeah, so I have
and you know, those are both from the Super Bowl season.
Are they really? I saw 2000. I didn't even. Oh wow. Okay.
Yep. They all.
Cool.
They both from
You
the
still not
2000.
getting it back. You know that, right?
Oh,
You're still not getting it back. I'm changing my address. Don't even think about it.
hey.
By the way, my name is Michelle Obama. If you try to find me, I just want you to know beforehand. So, so now you're moving forward, right? And you're getting
Right.
and the NFL draft is coming up.
Exactly.
What's
Now,
going through your mind? What were you thinking? Are you scared? Are you nervous? Are you like, I got this? I mean, what are you thinking?
it is probably some of the most stressful times ever. As it's crazy because guys, you know you're gonna get drafted, and you know you get drafted, whatever, and your life is gonna change. You know your life is gonna change once you draft it, but you're so stressed out about the opportunity to be drafted, to hear your name called. Though it's the most stressing, depressing day. And now for me, I was drafted in the 6th round. So that means I had to wait 3 days to get drafted. So
wow. So do they do them on different days? So they do the first round
yes.
one day. Okay.
First day, first round. Second day is like second, third, fourth. Then the last is 5th, 6th, and 7th, right? And so I had to wait till the last day. And now, mind you, I was quote unquote the guy at Virginia Tech. So now it's a big shock to me and to my ego and everything that now you were supposed to be this guy, right? And you and everybody say you're this and it's, oh, you got it, you're gonna make it, no problem. To now, I'm on the 3rd day, the final day. It's only 7 rounds. It's nail biting time, and I've been stressing for basically the whole weekend. Been the most miserable day. The time, and it's supposed to be the greatest time ever. You know, I always dreamed to get there, and now it becomes the most depressing time because you sitting and waiting and you have no control. And people call and people say, "Oh, we want to take you here." That's 2 days ago, right? Oh, don't worry, and your agent, you going back and forth with your agent, who gonna take me, who want me? And he's like, well, I'm talking to this person, that person, but inside me, my insides are tore up. I'm really hurt. I'm in the dumps. And finally, the Ravens draft me in the 6th round. The GM Ozzie Newsome called me and he's like, yeah, Cornell, we're excited about. Are you excited? And I'm on the other end like, yeah, okay, thank you. And I'm like, should be the greatest day. I was so in the dumps. And the worst part is I'm doing this and I got a room of friends. I got all my closest friends. They all sitting there for the last 2 days. They looking at me, looking in my face, seeing it. And it's like really emotionally, it's an awful feeling. It was an awful feeling when it should have been exciting. My friends were through the roof. They so excited. And I'm over there really, I was down. I was sad. I was down. I was really down on myself at the point in time, just because I had aspirations and thoughts that I would have went the first day or second day by my performance throughout my time at school. But the reality was that's how it went, you know? So now it's almost where, you know, you got to pick yourself up. You got to really brush yourself off. And I really got to adjust and think like, this is what I always wanted to do. So now how do I approach it? Because in the game of football, it's levels to it, right? The guys on the first day, second day, they pretty much know they're going to make the team. When you get drafted in the 5th, 6th round and all that, you don't know you're going to.
You got to go to camp, right?
Right. It's a toss-up. You one of the guys, so only the best guy is going to make it, right?
Right.
So,
so what happens when you go to camp? I mean, tell me about this.
My camp experience is one for the ages, because now the Baltimore Ravens had just moved from Cleveland, right? They went from Cleveland Browns to the Baltimore Ravens, and they had just had their first season in Baltimore the year that I got drafted, right? And so now this new Baltimore Ravens team, they just had a season. Now they wipe out their whole team. We had 20 draft picks. All right. And then we brought in about 20 more people. So the people that was already on the team from the year before, they didn't have to report to camp. And for me, I went to the Ravens and I had at my position, everybody knows Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis was already there. He had went the year before, right? So now my year, the first guy taken in my class, he plays my position. The second guy taken in my class, he plays my position. So now, basically, they draft 4 other guys that play my position at the same time, right? So now I'm like really stressed. So training camp is definitely. Now, mind you, the first guy they drafted that's in my position, me and him play the exact same position. And being the first pick,
you play the same exact way? You play the same exact way?
The same exact position, right?
No, I mean the same exact style.
Right. We played linebacker, but I didn't play where Ray Lewis played. So I'm playing behind this. He the first pick, right? So, but this guy, the first pick, he doesn't come to any training camp. He doesn't come at all. So now it's all on me to be that guy. So I'm playing the first team and the second team, and I'm playing all the special teams to prove my worth, right? And we go through 2 weeks of two-a-days, probably the toughest time. It was bad. It was so bad that we had more people quit the team than they had people that they could cut. So
well, that's good for you.
Oh, in turn, but for my body, I'm taking a beating because I got to do I'm doing all the reps, the first reps and the second reps, all of them, because I don't have a guy in front of me. I don't have a guy behind me, right? And so, and
so wait, that means you have to work out harder?
Right, and I'm like, so the funniest thing ever. So I strained both my groins in training camp. I'm coming out the training room one day, and I got both wrapped up, and we get about to go to practice, and the GM comes, and I said, man, you think I could get some help? He said, you think you want to be around here? You better get to work. And I'm all bandaged up. I said, you right, I'll get to it. I'm all bandaged up, go out there, and I'm practicing on. And he had no sympathy at all. He said, you want to be here? You better prove that you want to be here. So, and wow. It's a reality check. And now a great part of it, though, at nighttime, we at the hotel, and I look at my window one night, and we were in a hotel, and it had a bank. And you run down the bank, and it's a stoplight at the end of the bank. So I'm happy. It's like 12 at night, looking out the window. I notice a body is running down the hill. I see a car at the stoplight and it's just sitting there. I see a person run down the hill with their bag, jump in the car and take off. So we go the next morning. They say, is everybody here? Like, nah, so-and-so left last night. They ran off and went home and they just quit. They didn't want it. That's how hard training camp was. And it's like 105 degrees out there. This is 1990. This is 97. Oh, the summer was brutal and all. And it's like, man, even though it's the dream of so many people, it was so bad, they didn't even want to battle it. They didn't want to even fight for it. They were like, it's too much. Y'all can have it. I don't want to do it. But eventually, I ended up making the team. And the thing that finalized it for me was the offensive lineman. They would always try to fight me every day. Every day they want to fight me because I was a young guy and they just wanted to fight. And we battle all the time. And then when we get to the end, those guys went to the defensive coordinator who was in charge of the defense and said, if you don't keep that kid, y'all crazy. Because he's just tough. We tried to break him, but we couldn't break him. And he's out there all the time. He's going both ones and twos, whatever. And this is what my peers are telling the coaches. Like, yeah, he's a young guy, but he's tough. he can handle it. He can take it. He take the beating, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So somewhat that helped me make the team too. And I ended up making the team, and I was there for 7 years. You know, and it was because I was never a starter until my last 2 years. So for 5 years, I was a backup. So mentally, that is draining because for me, when you're a backup, you never have any security. You're always, because the NFL, they say stands for not for long, right? And
I've heard that. I've heard that.
The more you can do. You can't just be a guy that does one thing. If you're a guy that does one thing, you're going to be the top guy on the team, quarterback, whatever, the best player, all that. So I'm the backup. So being that, they always trying to have somebody come get you. And they would tell you, you be in the meetings and they'd be like, yeah, you guys back there think you comfortable. We always got a bus running to the airport. And being a young guy, I said, what they mean by a bus running? It means a bus running. We got somebody coming in and we'll have somebody going every day until we find the guys we want and we think they can stay here. So this is a constant thing. So mentally, you always on edge. You never feel any comfort because we lose a game and they come in and say, Brown, what did you do in the game? What were you thinking about? Oh, like, oh my gosh. And it was like, oh. So mentally, you always have to, your mind has to be stronger than what you're dealing with, right? And you have to have a support system. You must find some type of support system to combat what goes on because it's a business. They're not about being your friend. They're not worried about your feelings. All they worried about is production, bottom line. The bottom line is winning and losing, right? And they figure we paying you, so hey, you do what we want, and that's it. If you can't, we'll go find somebody else. And that was my life for basically for 5 years until I could get where I was a starter. So, you know, every year they bring in some young guys that can run fast, look big, taller, faster, all of it. So it was a mental game. You know, you had to be mentally aware in order. You couldn't just be an athlete. So you had to have the whole package. You got to mentally be able to play as well as be an athlete. And I think that's a little bit what sent me to coaching because I was able to pick it up. I had enough mental capacity to do that. And I enjoyed helping the other people. And, you know, after my first couple of years, I was like the whipping boy. So it was like anything that could go wrong is Brown's fault. They coming to the meeting, Brown, and they telling me, why did another player not do what he was supposed to do? And I'm like, Coach, I don't know. He's like, aren't you out there with him? I said, yeah, Coach, I'm out there with him. Said, well, we expect you to be a smarter player and help him out. I'm like, he a grown man. I'm supposed to be responsible for him. But that's what they laid on me. So now I'm like, I'm carrying that burden of I had to be perfect. So in my mind, I had to create a system where every day was I'm working. So I had a good day if they don't say nothing to me. If the coaches don't say my name, that means I had a good day. So
did you ever try to run the hide? Did you ever try to hide? Make sure that it's. Oh, I gotta go. I gotta go bathroom.
Exactly. I said, oh my gosh, man. Young guys, whatever. So all the young guys, the guys on the second team, they were almost like my responsibility. But they like, Brown, why is he doing this? Brown, why is he doing? I'm like, Coach. I'm like them. I'm just trying to make it too. No, I don't want to hear that. You're here. You've been around. And this is what they telling me. So now I'm like, mentally, I'm taking on the responsibility of these other guys. Like, say, because you know what we're doing and all of this. So
do you think people leave more because of the mental pressure or the physical pressure? Like, what do you see becoming more overwhelming?
The mental part.
Or is it equal? The mental
part, really, because physically, this is what you train. You know, you can train the body, you can make it strong, you can be as fast as you can, but mentally, that's where the game really is. One, you got to learn your plays. You got to know what the plays are. They forever changing. You must know your opponent. You must know what the opponent does, what they like, what they don't like. So, and you know, these playbooks are like, just like in school, you know, psychology books, same thing. These are what the playbooks are, because these guys only have time all day, so they coming up with plays and, oh, I want to try this idea, and they throw it on you, and they like expect you to know it and go out and perform it like they drew it up on the board, right? So mentally, that's the challenge that most people face, because it's a mental game. And so that is a little bit why a lot of great athletes, they can be great athletes, but they might not make it. And guys be like, how did he not make it? He run fast, he big, strong, but mentally he can't pick it up. And it's happening so fast, and they not waiting, and they need you to know, constantly knowing. And somewhat probably that's what probably kept me around a lot longer also, because mentally I could understand it. And I helped other guys understand it well, understand the defense as well, by putting it in terms that we could relate to, right? So in a sense, and that's like the coaching realm. Like the coaches say one thing, and you know, you put it on the board just like you read in the book, and you say, well, this is how things supposed to be, da da da. But we know the human part of things is a factor. You know, you dealing with people's mental, and I might not learn the same way that somebody that reads well and does all that well, right? Pictures, all that, different ways to learn. So a lot of times my teaching to the other players was outlandish, talking about things that's going on currently and how you could relate that to what we got to do. And then when I say, they like, oh, okay, I see what that is. I said, yeah, it's, you know, like you got to go over there and jump. And like, I just got to go over there, right? Like, no, you got to go over there and act crazy. And they be like, bro, why are you saying that? And I said, just think about it. And they go over there and they be like, I remember you said when I go over there, act crazy. So that triggered to them, right? But where the coach didn't have time to do that. They were not going to waste their time doing that, because they got so many other things, and I got so many other people that I got to stay in line. So I was almost like a buffer. So I would jokingly make different things about what our responsibility was. And the guys at my position, they like, yeah, I like that. I can pick that up, and that helped them pick things up to where they can understand it, right? So
you're like the translator or the interpreter. And you know, so in education, we say there's 4 ways that you learn. It's called VARK: visual, audio, reading and writing, or kinetic, right? And then there's also the combination of them. And what happens sometimes is, once again, like you said, you're teaching someone a lesson, but if you're not teaching in their language, that's like me coming to you, talking to you in French, and like looking at you like, why didn't you do it? And you're like, well, you know, I didn't speak French. Exactly. So when you can break it down so that people can understand it, then guess what? They get excited about doing it. And then also they understand the measurement tool. They understand whether or not they did achieve it. Like they understand it better because they know what they were going for. Exactly. Versus, you know, it's more precise, it's more concise, versus just this overall broad vision of what they want to do, or what you want them to do. That's, and sometimes exactly that creates the anxiety, is that ambiguity, is, you know, what people don't realize is that innately we are good people. So because we are innately good people, we are people pleasers. Right? Exactly. So if I'm a people pleaser, and I don't know what I'm doing, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to please, then I can never, ever feel satisfied or complete or fulfilled in what I've done, because I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Exactly right. And it's the worst thing for a person to be in that position, to feel that way.
You know, right. And be antagonized.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Because these coaches don't know.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. And I think for myself, that's probably I was of value in that aspect, because the coaches, after my first 2 years, the coaches understood. Now I can badger him. And that's what I had to learn. That's why I was always, Brown, what are they doing? Because they basically saying they following you. They looking to you. You're an older guy. You understand what we're trying to do. And you don't, we can talk to you a little more aggressively without you being offended, like somebody else, a younger guy or a guy trying to make the team or a guy they really like, different things like that. So in a sense, being the buffer, and the coaches a little bit saw that. And I didn't understand it till I got older that that's basically what they were doing. They were like, well, you can take it, so we'll give it to you instead of having to give it to somebody else whose skin a little thin, and they get offended, and now they go in the dumps whenever the coach get on them. So, and then after a while, I started enjoying it because I understood the pain that these kids would come in with, because it's a dream. They want to put their best foot forward. They got all this physical tools, but now they go out there and it's like their feet tired because mentally they like, you want me to go there, but I'm thinking about, do I supposed to go backwards or so I was supposed to go to the right? And I'm tied up. And they be like, hey, Cornell, could you help me out? I'm like, man, sure, yeah, man. Hey, don't worry about that. And my thing was, I would more so like the guys who weren't the top level guys, because the top level guys, they'll take time. Because they're a bigger investment. It's the lower level guys that come in and it's their dream, and maybe they just have the one shot. And I felt rewarded helping them out, more or less trying to help them understand what we're trying to get done, playbook wise, what's expected. Like, and I would pick on them in my own way, like, hey man, you better run. They gonna get you. You ain't gonna be here long. They gonna get you. They be like, don't say that. I said, well, you better pick it up. You better go. So, and I had fun doing that. And really that led into me getting into the coaching ranks and end up doing the whole, because my last year I ended up hurt my shoulder, and I was rehabbing, and they had an opportunity to do a coaching internship with NFL Europe. And then NFL Europe would start in Tampa, Florida for a month, and it would start in like February, March. Then March, April, May, they would go to Europe. So Germany, Berlin, Frankfurt, Amsterdam, all those places over there, they have teams, right? They had like a 12-team league. So, and I got in there and I got when I was hurt, I went there and I rehabbed in Tampa, but I did the coaching internship. I really liked it, but I didn't get to go to Europe my first year. I only got to do the camp intern. And I was like, I would really love to do it if you had a spot. I would, because I wanted to travel too. Got the opportunity the following year, and I went to Frankfurt Galaxy.
Yep.
Frankfurt.
What'd you think?
What an experience! Hey, the Alice Clark. That's what I said. Alice Clark. All is good. Dankeschön, bitteschön. So I did my German, and it was a heck of an experience, because how often do you get to go out of the country? And I lived for 2 months in Germany. And Frankfurt is the banking district over there. So they were very more so Americanized. But I got to see the Berlin Wall. I see it's down, but they got the bricks in the concrete of where the wall was. Got off the bus.
Wow.
Checkpoint Charlie, all of that. I'm like, wow. It was definitely, and East Berlin, or West Germany, East Germany, it's crazy because it is a difference. It's a difference from where that wall was, because it seemed like on the side where they couldn't come over and where they were almost stuck, it's dreary, it's gray, it's it's sad. Well, on the other side, it's like sunshine and everything, and I'm like, it really, you could tell the difference of it. And it was really, it was shocking. And that's something that I the
two things.
Autobahn,
Uh-huh.
all
Oh,
of
you
it.
saw the Autobahn?
I drove on the
Yeah.
Autobahn.
I mean,
Yep.
I was gonna say, how fast did you drive?
I did it. What I did, like the 160 kilometers in the car.
What? Did you see any accidents?
No, because the way they do it, you can only pass on your left-hand side. You can't pass
Okay.
on the right. And you know, the left hand is the fast lane, and they give you the blinking lights. When they give you blinking lights, you better get out the way because they coming. And they be miles away, hit you with the blinkers. You got to get over, but you only can pass on the left. And big trucks cannot get all the way in the left lane. So
what side is the steering wheel on? It's on the steering wheel on the left or the right?
It's on the right. It's like us. It's on the right side. They were on the right side.
Okay.
But you know, everything Mercedes Benz and all of that. And the one thing you also learn about Germany is or Europe, they live by only what they need. Small apartments, families in small apartments, no excess. They don't believe in excess. Only what they need. Small, because a lot of them would be where they would have apartments, but their thing was on the weekends, they would go away to the countryside where they would have little RVs set up like homes and gardens and all of that. And that'd be like their away time. So everybody would have a spot in the countryside where they go on the weekends to get away from the city. So it was a different experience for me.
And it probably helps also with coaching too, when you think about it, because now, once again, you're learning that not everybody sees things, everybody doesn't see everything the same way, you know? And I just remember when I was growing up, Daddy and I used to always go to Manhattan. And the reason why we used to go to Manhattan on the weekends is because, you know, he was from, and I still don't know if it's Lowesville or Pioneer River, but it's one of those two, Virginia, right?
Both.
Okay, yeah. I always hear stories about both, and you know, the school on top of the hill and everything. But the thing is, his thing was he never ever wanted me to prejudge people and develop stereotypes. He wanted me to see people as they were. So we would go and we would sit. I'm sorry, just best time. We would go and we sit in Times Square and we would watch people for hours. I mean, and my dad was super duper cheap. So we would go to Nedick's or Nathan's and get a hot dog and sit there and watch people. And he would say, Kelly, I want you to look at how people are dressing. I want you to look at how people talk, how they engage in conversation. He said, I want you to look at such. He said, because certain body language that you do can set people off and make them think that you're being offensive or that you're disinterested. So watch how this person's body language is and watch how the other person receives it, you know?
Right.
And, you know, and he would talk to me about talking soft and talking loud and talking fast and talking. I mean, he would talk to me about all these different things. And some of the things he taught me, like, you know, like in the middle of a conversation, I'll realize, okay, you know what, I need to slow down because these people aren't getting it.
Right.
But also, he also told me, look, sometimes in these conversations, I need to keep going fast so they'll walk away because I don't want to talk anymore.
Yeah, get out of there.
It might be hard if I throw in some big words or some whatever else, then I don't have to stay in this particular environment. No, I didn't mean that. But anyway, the bottom line is I was learning different, I mean, because, you know, New York, there's every culture that you can think of, but I was learning different cultures so that when I talk to people and when I move forward and when I, you know, do things, I'm not thinking just about me. I'm thinking about the world around me, you know, and not thinking about just people from New Jersey. I'm thinking about people from New Jersey and California. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So being in Germany has probably broadened your scope and your ability to relate to more people, you know, with different backgrounds, with different expectations and different family sizes and different, you know, whatever, because you have that under your belt.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. I guess they did something right, that previous generation. What do you think?
Yeah. I'll tell you this. This is one funny thing I did. When I first went over and they had me do a little coaching deal early on, right? And I went to the camp. They got all the kids, whatever. And my first one, and I said, oh, I need this. I got all this stuff planned out. And I get there and the guy said, we don't have none of that. So I'm out there like everything I had planned. I had a great list schedule. I'm gonna do this, none of it. And then I get out there and get going with the kids, and they come to the meeting, and I'm telling them, oh, you got to do this, right? And everybody's sitting in the meeting, their eyes big, just looking at me. Nobody says anything like. And there's one kid in the back, and he goes, hey, coach, you might have a problem because nobody in here speak English.
How were you into the meeting before you realized nobody spoke English?
Nobody spoke English in there. They all was just like, and I'm talking, and they big eyed, like, and mouth open, like, and I'm like, you guys got it? They're like, and the guy in the back was laughing. He's like, because he had been exposed to some American football. And now he goes, hey, coach, you might have a problem because nobody speaks English.
So wait, did you learn German or did they learn English? What happened?
No, all I could do was show examples, like this, that, and the third. But it was like a training camp. So
wow,
that's why I learned that Asian people, they don't have R in their language. I didn't know that. If
so
an Asian person like red, they don't say, you think about it, they don't say red. They don't say, or if you make them say an English word with an R, it doesn't come out right. R doesn't come, is not like a part of their deal. And so the bad part was all the American kids would take all the Europe, Asian, and they had kids from all the way, Chinese, they had kids from all over. And they would get them, and all they want to do is teach them the American slang for bad words. So you talking to a kid, and the kid, he fun, and he'll cuss at you. Like, and all the kids over there laughing, and the kid, he's being dead serious. The kid don't know. He's like, what did you say? He's like, and he say it loud and proud, like, and he's like, wait a minute. And all the kids laughing, and he goes, they told me say it to you. He said, say it to you. And I said, oh, I said, dirty. And they rolling. They dying laughing. I said, okay.
Wait, Cornell, I used to teach in Newark, New Jersey, right? And at one time it was like Italian and black, and then it was black, and then it became Spanish and black, right? So, so I didn't know. There was this one kid in my class whose name was Elvis, right? And I had a long-term substitute teaching position. It was at Sussex Avenue. And this kid name was Elvis. And he kept saying, ping, ping. Well, he kept saying the word, right? And I was like, what is he saying? I don't know what he's saying. I thought he was saying pencil, like drawing with a pencil. So I kept giving him cursing at me. And the kids wouldn't tell me. The kids didn't tell me anything till the end of the day what was going on. But he just kept saying it.
Because that's what they told him to say.
I was like, what is going on?
He like, no. He like, yeah. They made him think that's the right thing to say. I'm like, you guys are awful, man.
It's so funny because they just, those are the things that build character and make you laugh and not take life so seriously, because when the tougher days come, and they do come,
yeah, they do,
you have those things to fall back on and also those stories to share. So I'm guessing humor, because you are funny, almost as funny as me, but humor, network, or people to call on, like a circle of support,
right,
and humbleness. You've exhibited humbleness along the way. I mean, well, you had to, in certain arenas, because you didn't know if you're going to be drafted. You didn't know, how long the arm injury was going to take to repair. So that humbleness and those other components are things that help you to build towards excellence without that stress, without that fear of performance, without that anxiety in moving forward.
That's right.
Would you say?
Yes, I think it's totally
if
correct.
If there were anything else or any other nugget that you would want people to take away and saying, like, this is something that I can use when things get tough.
I would say when things get tough, you must be open to express the things that hurt you or that you have on
Yes.
your heart. And it's not you. People just need to get it out. Not that I need to complain or anything. I just need to get it off my chest and to be able to find something, someone, anything to express it to. Because the toughest thing is that we do not want to our shortcomings or our faults to be thrown back on us, right? And that is the hesitancy of a lot of people when they have issues and setbacks because of, I don't want people to judge me. I don't want people to see me in this light. But the biggest thing I think is to be able to say, I really messed up. This really affects me. This really hurts me. Whatever. We know that you will, and people ask, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. That's a true statement. But just to be able to express that it's an issue that hurts you or upsets you or whatever it may be, makes a major difference to how you go forward. Because being able to express it allows you to release it and not carry it
Yes.
in. Because that's the thing that really, I think, that hurts a lot of us, because we suppress the pain or the hurt or whatever it may be, and we walk around with it and we cover it. We're good. And then it's something else that sets it off. And it's not necessarily what sets it off is what you're upset about, but that you've been carrying the burden of pain of something else. And it just escalates to be more on something minimal, just because you were never able to express that I had a pain, I had a setback, that I was hurt. And like I said to you about me in the draft, that hurt me. It hurt me to be in that position. And it hurt to really sit in front of people and them to see that, because I know they saw it on my face or whatever. But at the same time, they were my friends, and they almost somewhat allowed me to be able to be that way, to express in my own way. And like, hey, even though they happy, they like, we understand that, hey, that's understandable. But now that you got it off your chest and you heard about it, what will you do about it? Basically, that's what it comes down to, and you don't have to have an answer at the time, but just the fact that you can say it and it give yourself a drive to continue to go forward. Whatever going forward is, simply go forward, right? We got to go forward like time. Time is not stopping. Good time, bad time, it keeps going on to the next second. So the same thing with us. When we have pain and setback and things like that in our lives, express it, say it, get it off your chest, whatever it is, even write it down. Writing it down,
Yes.
just write it down to yourself. Those parts of the journals, right? People writing journals just to be like, I said it. This hurts me. And then come back and see it like, yeah, that did hurt me. But now that I got it out, now what do I need to do to get going forward? And that would be the biggest thing that I would say. Do not be afraid to express, write it, whatever it need to be, because go outside and scream at night. You grow up in the country, you can scream as loud as you can want to. And
you won't disturb nobody.
Yeah.
You won't disturb nobody.
Yeah,
well, actually, no, because your neighbors were pretty close. But in the country where Ruby lives, they are pretty close. They're like right there. So because coming from New Jersey, you used to neighbors like so far apart. And it was so funny because we went down this long street and there was nobody. And then you pop up and there's 3 houses. And I'm thinking that there's going to be more down the road. There's no more down the road. And the roads were dirt too. The roads were dirt during that time.
Yes, it was.
But yeah, so you can scream like you said, and ain't nobody gonna hear you. And the neighbors know you and they love you. They know all about your business.
That's right.
Nobody, because they see everybody that comes in your house. Right? Yep. They see every car that pulls up.
Yeah. So because who was that came over your house yesterday?
At 3:53. They were driving a black car and they were wearing red and
had 2 kids in the car too.
and I ain't never seen that before.
Yeah. Whose friend are they? Whose friend are they?
And wait, look, not only whose friends are they, what did they come to talk about?
Exactly. What they want? What did they want?
What do you want? Not your business. No, I'm just kidding.
What
You
they
can't be
want?
doing that in the South. You can't be doing that in the South. You got to tell it all. Because look, if you don't tell it all, somebody's gonna find out and tell it for
And
you.
they're gonna go explore. They're gonna find it out. Mm-hmm.
So you might as well go on and tell it and let it out. But excellent. Well, listen, I am so glad that we caught up. I wanted to ask if people wanted to get in touch with you because you are a mentor and you work with I'm sorry, I didn't even say you with Marshall.
I'm not at Marshall now.
Okay.
So I'm a free agent.
You're a free agent. Okay. So as you are coaching and working with individuals, etc., how can they reach you if someone wants some type of assistance coaching or development in football?
Definitely. You could go Twitter. Twitter would be CO Brown 58. All right. You can follow me there. You can definitely direct message me there. You can go Instagram. Instagram is CDB_world. You can hit me there. You can even email me if you desire. My email is cornellbrown@aol.com. So I'm still AOLing. So
you old school. You like old school.
yeah. I'm gradually moving into the new world and the whole deal. But I am I'm available. Just like I said. And it's not necessarily for athletes. It's for anybody. Because the last few years I've been in the world where dealing with young men, Division I football, who, all their anxieties are dealing with that life and everything else. But in general, just my life, maybe I could help somebody out, just my experiences, or you simply need somebody to talk to. And sometimes you need people to talk to that won't be able to judge you. And that's a big factor. And I like to think that, I enjoy people and I like the well-being of people in our society. I think we can be a much better place as long as we're willing to help others and extend a hand to them. And know them or not, I feel the same way. If somebody out there feel that they would just want to talk and say whatever, I would be open to it with no problem.
It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity. Exactly. And you're from the South. You're from the South, so I know you can talk. I know you can talk. I know all about it.
That's right.
Well,
if you're from the South, you love to talk because, hey, it's not like the city. Come on, people. Come on, people. Come around. I want people to come around. Let's talk.
Look, we used to sit on my grandmother's front porch in North Carolina, and everybody that walked by, first of all, my uncle knew everybody, knew their family, their kin, or somebody, Everybody, come on by, they're walking down the street. Come on in, come on. So we would have people come over. Look, we would have pop-up, what do you call that thing? Pop-up talent shows. You sing, you sing, and you dance, and you can sing, and you can dance, and then yes. And all of a sudden, I have a variety. That's what I'm saying, a variety show, a pop-up variety show. So, but yes, listen, Cornell, I just want to once again thank you so much for everything. Thank you for taking out the time, and also thank you for my ball. You did a good job. I gotta do this. Can I do this? Let's see if I can do it. Here we go. I just. Let's see. One. Because then it has you and the ball in the same screen.
There we go.
1, 2, 3. I did the wrong thing. Wait, hold on. Let's see.
You got it all.
Screen. Okay, there's a print screen. And there's the thing. Okay.
Look at you.
1, 2, 3. Oh shoot, I'm doing it wrong. I'm still doing it wrong. Wait 1 second. Here we go.
Oh, you got it.
There we go. I got it. All right. Perfect. Well, listen. Thanks again, and And I'm gonna call you. I want to check up. I want to make sure Angie and Blake get together too.
Yeah, please do. Anytime.
All right. Love you, cuz.
Love you, my dear.
Talk to you later.
Good
Bye-bye.
luck on this. You do a great job.
I have to I want to call you right back though, but I have to
Okay.
hang up because it's gonna keep recording.
No problem.